Hey everybody, what's up? Where I'm seeing you be within the energy is seemingly taking your journey somewhere that you haven't gone before, and what it looks like you're kind of up against is something that can be really big to face down, but you can also be in this position of knowing that if you're really going to move in the way that intuitively and emotionally you want to move, you're gonna have to face this big thing. And that can mean some big change that's on the horizon for you. We're starting off with Four of Cups, and we also have Ten of Swords. All right, let's talk about the two variations that I'm getting coming through with this energy. One thing is that there can be something that needs to close out, but it can be something that feels difficult to do because of the attachment to this situation and like all of the things that are connected with it and going on. And so with the Four of Cups, it can be kind of like, I know that I need to do this or that it would be in my best interest to be doing this, but I am currently avoiding having to do that just because of not wanting to have to deal with everything that's going to come with this. It's like that thing that you know isn't in your best interest to have going on, but like the work that it's going to take for you to eradicate this and change this within your life, that can be something that feels kind of overwhelming when you think about like kind of what you'd have to face. Because I think that at the end of the day, what this does is it makes you come face to face with some really deep fears that you have, but there's also, when you're willing to do that, you can also become liberated as well. It's how you transcend this energy, is through addressing these things. But it doesn't feel like this is the difficult side of shadow work that we have to do. I guess like all shadow work can be challenging. But yeah, it's like this stuff that you know you look at and you can tell that it's not the best situation for you, or it's not like you don't feel like happy and fulfilled being involved in it, but at the same time it can be doing something for you in some way. You can be accustomed to things too, and knowing that you'd have to be changing that then if this were something that you're gonna face. And so yeah, this Four of Cups can just be like, I know that I should be doing this, I know it's in my best interest to do it, but I am kind of not wanting to deal with this because of how big and involved it will be to have to address this. And I think also like come face to face with this side of yourself. What this can also mean too is that for those of you that you have recently gone through something that felt really stressful, difficult, trying, you may have concluded something, you may have ended something, or a situation did end, and you can be left facing a part of you that feels, I just get this like thing with a really strong hold on you, and it can be something that you don't really like to look in the mirror and see this. So you can be left in a position where maybe you're like distracting yourself or something like that. Oh, this looks like something that you're actually currently working on. So what this means is like, you can be currently trying to work something out, work on something, work something out with someone. You may not want to do it anymore. Like maybe you don't feel inspired to be doing it. Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you don't want to, but it almost feels like you can't get off the hook. I don't think that you can't get off the hook, but you can know that you're going to have to do stuff here to get off the hook that may feel like you don't really want to be bothered to have to be doing that. So you can just be like, I'll just put up with it. I kind of get that from this. I don't think that you need to remain in this situation. I actually think it would be better for you not to be in this situation. Like you would prefer to not be in this situation. I just think it's like what you'd have to do, what you'd have to face in order to get out of this. I feel like you got into a situation where it's like this binding handshake and you got involved in something, and now it feels like in order to kind of like stop this, to separate, to disengage, to pull yourself out of this, to not be doing this anymore, that there's like some price that has to be paid in order for that to happen. But I feel like it would be worth it though. If you're not happy doing something you don't really want to, why continue? But you can feel like it's holding something over your head that you're like, I don't want to lose that though. But it's like, but you don't want to be doing this. But you can be kind of like seeing that part of you coming up that would have you maybe, I don't know, like in a way I almost feel like you forcing yourself to be involved in a situation because you may not want to deal with the consequences of you stepping away from it, but it's a situation you don't want to be involved in anymore. I think honestly that if you could just do what you wanted to do and you weren't focused on the consequences as far as like what you would have to face, like if we weren't thinking about that end of things and it was just like, do you want to be involved in this situation or not? I'm seeing you would look at this and say, I don't want to be involved in this situation. I guess with the devil too, we can also interpret it as when we have the devil involved in something, we can be kind of like breadcrumbed by a situation, and it can be the dangling carrot that you're not actually going to reach within this situation, but there's always that promise of like maybe it will happen, but it's like not really going to happen, and that can be something that keeps us within the cycle as well. You know, like maybe it could. There's always a maybe when the devil is there. Like it's always a potential, it's always a possibility, and even though it doesn't materialize, like it's not going to be actualized, there's always that chance there that it could, and that's something that keeps us on the hamster wheel. But right now, if you were to check in about this is not something that you want to be doing. I wonder even if kind of exposing this and learning about the bigger pattern that's taking shape here within this situation, there can be a part of you that kind of feels disinterested in investigating it. Like maybe this is something you've just like resigned yourself to the idea this is just going to be something that you're stuck in. I don't see it needs to be like that, but it can be something where you're like, well, in my head, I decided that I was just going to do this regardless of how I feel about it. So I'm seeing Hanged Man on the bottom of the deck. Confusing times. It feels difficult to continue being involved in this. You can feel like you're being pushed to your limits. If we're avoiding it, then we're just kind of dealing with what's going on and continuing to do that. This even feels like I'm working on this, but I don't even really care about it that much. You can be attached to something and not want to be involved in it. Like when we have Four of Cups, you can be feeling kind of numb being involved in something. You don't feel excited. This is not the thing that you like get up in the morning and you're racing over to it to go connect with whatever this is. This is something where you're like dragging yourself out of bed and like making an appearance here for this. It's like that sort of thing. Like I feel maybe a strong sense of obligation that you feel to be doing this for some reason. I think with the devil, we can have like all different reasons for why it is that we put ourselves through something. Like you can really feel like potentially you could get something out of it, but like even if you got whatever this was that you wanted to get out of it from a material standpoint, I don't know if like on a spiritual level that's even something you'll feel happy and satisfied with. And like imagine continuing to work on something like that, and then it's like it always stays feeling like this for the most part. And whether you're going to conclude this or continue, that's really the question here, because I'm seeing a choice that hasn't been made, and I'm seeing you like maybe even actively avoiding making this choice here. It's like, I don't want to have to deal with that. But I'm also seeing too that I think it feels stressful being involved, and it feels stressful thinking about disengaging as well. Both of those things. Like maybe you feel stuck between a rock and a hard place when it comes to this. The thing too is that I see you being in a place where you do want to build and you want to have stuff feel solid within your life, but it feels kind of like, do you maybe want to work on a different project that can be solid for you, or is this the thing that you want to be working on? And when we have Hanged Man on the bottom of the deck, it can show that we're not seeing everything that's going on here. Like we're not totally understanding it. It means that there can be patterns that are going on that we're not recognizing. It means there can be places where we're not being totally honest with ourselves about this situation that we're in, this sort of thing. I'm seeing Capricorn here, and we also have Neptune. This can also be a conversation that's being avoided, or questions that we are not asking too. Stuff that's not being investigated. On the emotional front, you don't feel happy with this. You don't feel connected to it. Okay, now I'm seeing the reason why you can be debating whether or not you want to close this out is because I feel like this is attached to something actually huge within your life. And it may be something, I think that this is attached to like a big structure within your life. And even though you're feeling like this about it, maybe there's a desire to maintain it because of the structure. But it feels too, even like your feelings about it are at odds with this part of you that's like, we should keep this around. When really, like if you were following your intuition, I'm seeing that this is something that you would remove yourself from. However, having the devil there, this can be like your attachments, your materialism, your focus on sort of like the production of things. And it really is like the material side of stuff. That can be something that you still have not rectified within yourself. Meaning, until we get to the point when we accomplish something and we still feel numb, which I even feel like you're at this point now, where it's like, whatever the thing is for you, it can be like, I need to have this type of house or this type of car or this type of relationship situation, and then you get there and you're like, why do I still feel empty? I think until you get to that point, we don't realize that it has been like some type of fallacy, that there's something that we haven't totally been honest with ourselves about when it comes to this, and we can feel like we've been misled or misguided in some way because we thought like this was going to be the thing that was going to make us happy at the end of the day. You're not feeling happy is what I'm seeing. But your attachment to the idea that this would be something that would have made you happy, I think you're still not letting go of that. It's like, even though you're feeling something for what it is, there may be a part of you that's like, I don't want to see it. I just want to keep pretending. And that's the part of you that doesn't want to make the choice to call this off. If this were in alignment too, there wouldn't be this type of pressure and stress either. Because I feel like there's a lot of effort that has to be put in order to keep this going, to the point where you can be feeling kind of like drained within the energy. But there can be this feeling of like, I need to keep doing it, I need to keep doing it, but it feels kind of compulsive, and it feels like a little bit mindless as well, the way that this is involved. And I am seeing this split between like the lower mind and the higher mind within this. And actually, I'm seeing that intuitively you know what this situation is, but there is another part of you that I think doesn't want the dream to be over. Because I'm seeing your higher self be like, wake up, wake up, wake up. And I'm seeing it be like plugging your ears and closing your eyes and being like, don't wake me up from the dream, because you're going to see things for what they really are. And unconsciously, maybe even beginning to be consciously, you do see what this is. I just think there's a part of you that if you want to keep denying that, I think you can continue doing that for a bit still. So what that means is that until you're in a place where you want the truth about this situation, it's going to go on like this. But you're not going to start liking it because it's out of alignment. Like, it's not going to just magically start feeling fulfilling, because this is not something that is compatible with that part of you in that way. It's not emotionally compatible. But I'm seeing that you've been doing this for a long, long time, so it can feel very familiar and you can be used to working on it, but it's like the endless project. You never get to that point of feeling like it's over. I'm seeing this just be like, it's like the car of this relationship or the car of this situation. There's always something wrong with it and you're always working on it. But if you get moments of it like working properly, it's very far and few between the experience. But that can also be something that's like, maybe there's a part of you that feels like you don't deserve something to work well and to work like seamlessly and to have that part of your experience. Maybe you feel like you need to work, like to be able to enjoy something. That can be something going on within your thinking too. Like maybe even in your head, you feel like all situations are work in this way. Like nobody likes these situations that they're in, but everybody just deals with it. You can have things like this that are going on here that just reinforce you being in this situation and not removing yourself from it. And again, like I do get that this isn't just like, what do you want for lunch today? I'm getting that this is going to have a really big impact on your life. But doesn't it already have a really big impact on your life? And I just get this sense of continuously like putting this off to continue playing within this. But now at this point, I think that there's this part of you that's like looking over to the other side of the road and being like, people look like they're happy over there. So I think that at this point, like maybe something has caught your attention a little bit and you're like, maybe the grass actually will be greener on the other side. Like maybe it can be greener for me. And I actually think that it very much can be, but you're going to have to recognize the grass that you're in right now and that it's not the greener grass. But I think like until you're ready to see that, because especially having Neptune be on the bottom of the deck of this spread, it means that the underlying theme of this reading is radical self-honesty versus radical self-deception, essentially. And that is like the bridge that you're on right now, and you're gonna decide like which side you want to go on to. And if you're gonna go the direction of radical self-honesty here and self-reflection when it comes to the true nature of your feelings about this situation, it means that you're going to have to face something that feels difficult to face, but then you get the actual outcome that you want. So it leads you where you actually want to go, rather than this idea that you're being told this is where you want to be, but it doesn't feel right. So we remain within the in-between for now, and I guess you get to decide what you want to do about this now. When we have Hanged Man, it can also speak about kind of the layers that we have to move through in order to get to the center of something as well. So maybe you're kind of peeling back the layers at this point and dispelling illusion, essentially. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.